Namaskar, I am Prachi Gupta and you are watching Sci-Tech, a show where we unravel the science behind everything. From infections to cancers, tiny pills can help us evade pain and make us healthy. But do you know that medicines, particularly antibiotics, are losing their magical properties to heal us? Yes, that is true. With time, microbes are gaining resistance towards antibiotics, which means that popping a pill may no longer provide you relief. But why is it happening? And how are scientists trying to solve this issue? Let's watch this a small clip to understand.
Microbes are both our friends and foes. From the recycling of nutrients to the decomposition of dead bodies, bacteria play a major role in cleansing the environment. However, some of them are troublemakers for us. Diseases like tuberculosis, influenza, cholera, diarrhea, anthrax, Zika, etc. are all caused by these tiny beings. Over the time, we have come up with ways to fight these disease-causing microbes by developing antibiotics and vaccines. Antibiotics work by attacking and destroying the microbe-specific structures like cell walls, etc. While antibiotics save us from germs, their overuse is now rendering them ineffective. Strange? No. Well, this can be understood by the theory of evolution. Like in the human population, we have both the strong and weak kinds. Similarly, in the microbe population, there are some microbes which get killed by an antibiotic and some that survive the drugs. When we overuse antibiotics, the population of these antibiotic-resistant microbes keep on increasing and spreading in the environment. Now, if we get a disease caused by these drug-resistant bacteria, then the antibiotics will be ineffective in curing it. Studies have shown these resistant bacteria are on rise in the environment, which indeed is a cause of worry, as it hints towards a looming health crisis. Luckily, a solution to this problem has now been found by researchers from the Delhi-based Jamia Millia Islamia University. In their latest research paper that was published in the journal Scientific Reports, the researchers showed that a combo of silver nanoparticles or tiny particles of silver and an antibiotic can kill the drug-resistant bacteria. The scientists tested the combination of silver nanoparticle with commonly used antibiotics, ampicillin, and found that this formulation is effective in killing the bacteria even at the lower concentrations of ampicillin. In this combo, while ampicillin works by attacking the cell wall, the silver nanoparticles kill bacteria by damaging the cell wall. Repeated exposure of the bacteria to these formulations showed that they are not gaining resistance to this combination. As scientists are trying their best to solve the problem of antibiotic resistance, it is important that we as a community lower our antibiotic use so that drug resistance doesn't happen in the first place. For they rightly said, if we use antibiotics when we don't need them, they may not work when we need them.
Batteries find use in almost everything around us, from our cell phones to our remote controls. We are even moving towards electric transportation where power storage and charging play a big role. Sometimes in certain applications, a sudden recharge or a burst supply of energy is needed. Can batteries achieve that alone? The answer lies within the science of supercapacitors. Let's watch this story to find what supercapacitors are and how waste cotton can help in building them.
Imagine a world where your phone charges in a second and your electric vehicle just needs a few minutes to charge enough to take you miles. Such a future requires rapid power-ups, which unfortunately current batteries do not provide. The search for such a device has led researchers to make supercapacitors, which are like big brothers to capacitors. Unlike batteries, there is no electrochemical reaction in capacitors or supercapacitors. Instead, They store energy by means of a static charge and can also be charged instantly. And that's why supercapacitor is the most sought-after device for applications like hybrid transportation systems, electronics, or wearable electronics. Like an ordinary capacitor, a supercapacitor has two separate metal plates, which are at a distance. But these plates are coated with a porous substance such as carbon in supercapacitors. Other than this, supercapacitors have both these plates soaked in an electrolyte separated by a thin insulator, making it double-layered. This coating and the double layers allow supercapacitors to hold more charge than a normal capacitor. Supercapacitors not only charge rapidly but also last longer. It is because they don't suffer from the damage which batteries undergo due to frequent charging and discharging. While lithium-ion batteries can undergo 500 to 10,000 cycles before going out of use, the supercapacitors can undergo 1,000,000 cycles before being discarded. Now you would understand if I say that supercapacitors are the future of power. As the whole world is racing to achieve feats in this technology, Indian researchers are also coming up with innovative ways to make supercapacitors. Recently, scientists from an Indian research institute, International Advanced Research Center for Powder Metallurgy and New Materials, or ARCI, have demonstrated the feasibility of using seawater as natural electrolyte and suitability waste cotton from industries to be used as fibrous material for coating electrodes of supercapacitors. This new development will not only make supercapacitors cheaper but also environment friendly. In today's era, energy drives the economies across the world. By providing instant power for longer duration, supercapacitors will make the world more sustainable and green.
We humans come up with medicines and vaccines to fight various kinds of infection. But have you ever wondered how other animals, especially the ones who live in large groups such as ants, restrict the spread of infection among themselves? A deadly infection can certainly wipe out their whole community. So how do they ensure their survival in such testing times? Do they follow social distancing or throw off the sick member out of the group? What strategy do they follow? Let's watch this video to know more on this.
Like we humans, various animals love the company of each other and therefore live in groups. While one may argue that living together leads to competition for food and resources, staying together helps them fight the common enemies effectively and ensure survival of the community in tough situations. Ants are special in this case. They live together as a single unit, like various cells of our body that specialize in a certain task. But what happens if one member of such a population gets infected, poses a danger of a disease outbreak? How do other ants behave towards such a member, and how do they limit the spread of infection? A study by Austrian scientists shows how a colony of insects with the scientific name Lasius neglectus reacts to fungal attack on any of its members. The ants take care of the member carrying pathogenic fungus spores by licking the contaminated individual's body. Licking reduces the chances of death as its nest mates remove the spores from its body. Although licking the sick insect exposes the healthy ants to a very small amount of the fungus, but it doesn't make them sick. The ants also perform chemical disinfection by applying poison like formic acid produced by the infected ants. However, if the insect is fatally ill, then the members kill it. The colony also kills fungus-infected pupae to stop the pathogen to complete its life cycle and replicate further. These are few of the strategies which have come to the notice of scientists, but there is no doubt that different animal groups use different strategies to avoid getting wiped out during such disease outbreaks. Knowledge of these strategies can help us in coming up with ways to tackle the epidemics in a better manner.
Time to wrap up this episode of Sci-Tech. You can share your feedback and suggestions to us on the email ID flashing on your screens. But before we end, here is a fact of the day for you.
Bullet ant, which lives in jungle of Amazon, is known to have most painful sting in the world. It has been named bullet ant as the pain due to the sting is like being hit by a bullet.